Now to two monumental decisions by the Supreme Court, including on birthright citizenship. Since 1868, almost anyone born here is a U.S. citizen. President Trump tried to change that, but the court said no. Jan Crawford is outside the Supreme Court. Jan, good morning.
Well, good morning, Nate. It was one of the biggest cases of the term, the justices preserving the promise of birthright citizenship. But the president says it's just a loss for now, and that he's going to try to work with Congress to address the issue.
It was one of the first executive orders of his second term.
He signed an order that will end birthright citizenship.
But Monday, the Supreme Court rejected President Trump's effort to limit who is and who is not a citizen. The president called the ruling too bad for our country and urged Congress to take action immediately.
If there is a role for Congress to play to resolve it, we're interested in doing that.
But it would likely take more than just an act of Congress or the president to make the change. In the 5-4 decision, the court said under the Constitution, they are citizens at birth, regardless of the parent's immigration status, meaning it would likely require a constitutional amendment. Democrats applauded the outcome.
You may try to redefine what it means to be an American, and you will fail. We are American.
In a separate, closely watched 6-3 decision, the court ruled that states can continue to prohibit transgender athletes from competing on field.
All right. That's beyond the case of what we're talking about. That's the next story, all right? So let's get back to what she said. She said, we are Americans. You can't change the thing and be American. Look, I want to say this. We're not saying you're not American. We're just saying that you cannot sneak over to the country and then claim to be American. Like be pregnant, go over the border, deliver baby so you can benefit from the American. You know what I'm saying? That's all he's saying. He's not really saying that, oh, let's stop it. But I would say you could maybe put something out like, well, all the kids after this point, if you're not born in America from American parents, just like Russia and China does, you're not considered an American. Right? It just makes sense to me. That's just me. I know a lot of people don't have that same mentality, but what the Supreme Court is doing, and there's ways around it, but what the Supreme Court is doing is saying that, hey, man, you can sneak in this country, you can go under the border, you can legally come over here, and as long as you give birth over here, you're legal. That's what they're saying, which has always been the rule, but the rule was made for a certain demographic of people, the blacks, for slavery reasons. But now that rule has never been changed since the 1800s, and they're abusing it. The 14th Amendment. Now they're abusing it and using it for their own reasons, which is unconstitutional in itself. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a lot of Americans are thinking this. It's the Democrats that are like, oh, let's not restrict this, because they understand why. They want you to come over here and take over the country. You know, in my eyes, and this is me, this is just my bias. I'm Angelo Savage. I think the Democrats do not like Americans, G. I think they want everybody to have the best opportunity in America, and that's not how the world works. Now, until their position is taken over in the world, they're not going to understand why they should salvage their position. Why do I say that? Well, it just makes sense to me that if an individual is lacking opportunity, don't bring over an individual that is thirsty for an opportunity, because you will lose that opportunity because they want it and they're willing to work for half the amount of money that you're willing to work for it. So they're not going to be protesting about the pay. They don't want pay raises because they don't care, because they're willing to just be in America and make the opportunity we got. I'm downtown Chicago the other day. I see, I know they Venezuelan dudes, they own the bicycle. You know how they do it in Venezuela? Shit, in Dominican Republic, all these southern countries, or South African countries or whatever. They got the little bike with the little, look like a piece of man bike they used to have in like New York or whatever. You see it a lot right now in Chicago. They just drive through everything, which I like. It's cool. They're doing their thing. I just know that vibe wasn't here like 2 years ago, if I'm making sense. Now, that has nothing to do with birthright citizenship. I just think that the Democrats are praising for something that will be their ultimate demise. So yes, bring them over. That's fine. And if the Supreme Court say, hey, it can come over, they can come over. It is what it is. But what I'm saying is that you bring them over, right? Actually, we don't bring them over. They illegally enter. They give birth on land. they are now become citizens because their children are here. So what are we allowing in here is like, as long as you can get in the country, it don't matter how you got in the country. It doesn't matter if you finessed. It don't matter if you snuck under a plane. It don't matter if you dug a hole from Mexico to the United States. It don't matter if you killed 2 officers and got on the land and delivered a baby. The baby was delivered on the land, so the baby is an American. Come on, we got to have standards here, man. China doesn't do that. Russia doesn't do this. So why are we allowing to do this when we're in the best country in the world when it comes to opportunity? That's because we're giving out free opportunity. But the same opportunity that we're given, the Democrats want even more. So while they're begging for more raises, tax the rich, the immigrants going to come in here and work for less, which is their benefit. They don't care about you taxing nobody because they're getting the benefits anyway for the low income. They getting the EBT, they getting the Section 8, they getting the Medicare. And then the poors, the Democrats, not all poors, I'm just explaining, they be like, oh, we want more money. It's the rich people that why we're poor. No, you allow somebody to come in and take your opportunity from you. They knew the importance of your opportunity, which I don't shame the immigrants. The immigrants are just doing what they supposed to be doing. I'm not going to lie. I'm on the side of the immigrants. I just, from the biased point of American, I don't think we should let them in. Just saying. But I'm on the side of them because of the fact that they come from nothing and they're willing to do anything to get opportunity. Just an opportunity. No one's saying they're getting handouts, even though we're giving it to them. They just come for a simple opportunity to make money and be in a safe environment. Not all of them are good. Not all of them are bad. Now, that's not besides the point. Trump is trying to knock down the 14th Amendment or just recategorize it. I would say recategorize it. Well, whoever's in the country is in the country. And if your parents are American, you are American, whoever's birthed from that, then you're staying in the country. But people that come over from America and they pregnant 9 months, 8 months, or they 8 months pregnant finna deliver in America, come on, bro. We got to put a stance. China doesn't do this. I think in China, at least one of your parents, I think has to be Chinese, like a Chinese native. They got to be from there. I think they have to even have citizenship there. And if they don't, they're not considered Chinese, and you cannot be a Chinese national. Those type of rules keep people from finessing the system. So what the Supreme Court did basically today, in my eyes, is that they're saying that it's okay to finesse the government. It's okay. We don't care how you came over here. We don't care if Biden lets millions of people over here through illegal ports of entry. As long as you were born on the soil, you are an American. Now, the Democrats that has no racial history of this, they have no racial background. They're not black. They come from other, they're probably first generation. Of course, they're going to side with that. It makes sense, right? This lady's they're going to side with immigrants coming over and being American because it doesn't take away the opportunity from her people that is in her mainland or their mainland that they originated from. So I think you guys got to kind of think a little bit out the box, right? It just makes sense. Now, what are you willing to do about it? Well, as of now, Supreme Court has made their judgment. There's not much to do about it. They would have to just bring it back up at another time and see if Supreme Court will look at it. Now, I think it was 4-3. So it was almost a possibility that it was going to pass. Almost, but it didn't. That's fine. It is what it is. It's just the fact that y'all got to understand that when you allow somebody to get the opportunity that you have, they will. Like, I like immigrants because they hustlers. Most of them. The ones that I work with from, they're not even first generation. They're actually immigrants that came in, did it the right way and everything. But they're the hustlers. That's why I like them. And they're way more hustle oriented, and they have their own culture and everything, way more than certain Americans that are lazy here. So when I look at people that are so look, if I say I don't want immigrants in here, I'm trying to protect y'all as the lazy ones because I already understand what's about to happen. Because the lazy ones ain't gonna work. They're gonna come in here and take your jobs from you, and then you're gonna tax the rich more. No, don't tax the rich. The immigrants came in here and worked for half the money and did double the work. Why tax the rich? You're just mad because they took your job, but you let them in. You should have got some type of boundary to get in. It should have just been, oh, if you can sneak over, you're good. Come on, man. Those days over. We should adjust that. They say that they was made for slavery. It was made for the descendants of slaves because we were not considered property anymore, but we want to still become Americans. Now they're like, well, shit, slavery's over, but we finna still finesse the hell out of this amendment. That's how you got to look at this situation, because that's exactly what's going on. Me, I'm a descendant of slavery, so I'm American, baby. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, for those people that come in freely willy, they get the same perks and benefits you did, and they didn't do nothing but break a law to do it. I just want to let y'all know that. Like, you don't even have to think of the most extreme situation. A motherfucker could just walked over here through an illegal port of entry. Nobody knew they came over, or they could have just dug a hole from underground and landed them in California and delivered the baby off the border in California. Nigga, they're legal. Straight up. Come on, man. You don't see no problem with that? Y'all don't see no problem with that, huh? And that's why the Supreme Court is kind of like, you know, sometimes they make good rules, sometimes they don't. But in this situation, it's like, they should say that we should speak on this more. They shouldn't just make a verdict on it. I think they should speak on this more, because people need to understand that the opportunity that y'all think y'all, I'm gonna be honest, I work with motherfuckers that are immigrants, you know, like I go to the immigrants if my car shit broken, you know what I'm saying? So what's that doing? That's taking jobs from those Americans that are up in the price and they're lazy. So they just taking opportunities from y'all that's lazy, and the ones that's gonna be hustling gonna win anyway. So y'all gonna the K-shaped economy coming regardless if you want it or not. I'm just saying, the K-shaped economy is coming, and it is due because of their own demise. So they can praise like, oh man, I think what it is, they're just anti-Trump. They don't even care that there's a birthright citizenship. They just don't like that Trump is the one that pushed it. And that's all they're happy about. I was like, bro, they're going to be your own demise. Anyway, this is your boy Savage. Tell me what y'all think about this in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video for the YouTube algorithm also, man. It's the Savage Night News. Let's get it. Peace.